guys, it's the Cockney Buddha and it's getting real. Wanted to tell you about a little bit of a trip out with my wife that I had today. We actually haven't been in that long. But here I am going, that's a podcast. So I started taking a bunch of notes. But who knows where it's going to go, really. Because just like my vlogging, I just put the camera up and I just switch this microphone on and normally just go for it. That's why it's getting real. Talking about different subjects and what you can learn, so listen in because there's some lessons in this. Especially when it comes to me being the calmer one and my wife, getting up to her naughties. So grab yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Or any kind of beverage that you please. Here I am here in sunny Florida. I do this for a living. I got a certification in counselling. And I help others on their journeys. And talking of journeys, I mean, this is what it's kind of what this is about. It's a journey, and that's kind of rare. It's this story starts out with basically my daughter goes to her prom tomorrow, and it's her last one. It's her senior prom. It's a huge deal, and we're gonna, it's a really big deal. But we're gonna be going out because it's Earth Day tomorrow as well, and it's 420 tomorrow as well, right? So it's kind of a biggie, and so my youngest daughter she's off with friends tonight, and they're going to have a blast and going to get up in the morning and have brekkies and having the experience. And my oldest daughter is over her fellas, Eli's. She's over there. And they're going to do this painting thing. I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen it on TikTok where you get a can. You both sit each end of the table. My wife's up for it as well because she spoke about it. And you basically paint each other, and it makes you absolutely piss your pants. And the connection that you make, because you're not meaning anything by it. You're trying to do it, but you're shit at it, right? Unless you're like Van Gogh, then of course, right? There is natural talent out there. My oldest daughter's like that, and my youngest daughter is very, very good at writing. I mean, some of the shit that she's read me, that she's written, I really encourage it, and I say to her, "You done any writing?" She was writing a book, and I don't know what happened, but it was good. It was good. So no nippers. We're like, oh shit, it's like, oh god, what we gonna do? No kids. Oh shit, forgotten what to do. So I was upstairs and I messaged my missus. Terrible, isn't it? Messaging. I'm in the same house. What the right? And I'm like, hey, listen, I'll take you out somewhere where you want to go. So all of a sudden it's like, as soon as you say that, because I'm the plant-based one, right? Oh no, but it doesn't matter because my wife is a lot plant-based too, and my kids. Even though they have a bit of meat, bit chicken here and there, but I don't have to. I kick up a bit of a stink about it. I have to. I have to. Why? If I didn't, there'd be something wrong with me. I'd think there was something wrong with me if I didn't. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, right? Shouldn't be doing it really. It's probably there I am helping others, and I'm putting some psychological bender on people in my family. They're terrible me. But anyway, so we're like, okay, so there's this there's this, my wife, I don't know how she found it actually. I think she was online, but I might have that wrong, because I know she was calling up the stairs to me and kind of telling me, and you know, it's one of those where you got your head over the banister, but you got music playing, kind of, and you're in a really good vibe. I had this really nice there was a really nice place. I wish I could remember it. What I might do, I think I might find it and put it in the description. Dan Kov sent me this music, and he goes, "Hey, this came on," and all of a sudden I thought, Steve would like that. and he just posted it my way, and it was a little 15-minute spot. And, you know, there's this freaking Rastafarian guy banging out. There's a sound that came out of London. And I want to do a podcast on music because it's really big. It's huge in I mean, my dad was a musician. You know, I know musicians. I mean, I can kind of dabble my way through. But and I've I got a kit of drums. Or I've just it's up in the attic now. But I had a kit. I was playing a kit, but there's a whole story around that. And a mate of mine who lives across the street, but there's a whole story behind that. But anyway, so getting back to the story because I'm getting a little bit lost. So my wife goes there. Listen, there's this place called Toasties. It's a really cool little place, and it's down on if you're in Central Florida area, like UCF area. My oldest daughter goes to UCF now. My youngest will, which is go to college first, and then go on to UCF. And my oldest daughter wants to be a chiropractor, and my youngest up to now wants to go into psychology, which I'm like, yeah, banging, go for it, kid. Both my daughters, you know. Because it's like to see that and be able to be in a position to be able to nurture that is amazing to me. But anyway, so she says about this place called Toasties. It's on University Boulevard, which is right off of what's the road, 434, which passes in front of the university. And it's a little bit of a ways down. If you look it up, Toasties, and it's this podcast is all about commitment. Is where I'm going with this. It's all about commitment, and when you see commitment, I'm kind of coming off the back of 30-Year Old Grom's thing what he was talking about tonight. I'm kind of just started sprouting off a bit of an idea. Go and check out 30-Year Old Grom. I'll put him in the description as well. He does a live every Friday. He puts his live up, and there's a really cool community that's gathering in there. And there's a bunch of us, that he actually started this group off, and got it going. And there's a bunch of people that get in there, and chat and stuff. It's a really cool little place. But so we kind of. If you would have seen it tonight, it kind of comes off of that because it got some ideas going, and it was about I'm coming off about commitment, and there was a bit that he was talking about where we swear, we shout at somebody and shit like that, but it's like don't let it go any further. Tune into yourself because there's like something going on there, right? There's like, okay, what's happening here? What's happening? Why am I so fucking pissed off at that person? Just, all right, you might shout out some profanity, right? But, I would never want ill health on anybody. And, my job with what I'm doing on my journey is to really catch into that quick before I even say it. And allow my emotion to happen because it's got nothing to do with me. There's something going on with them. There's something, right? And so it kind of come around the subject with 30-Year Old Grom. Again, go and check his YouTube channel out. Every Friday at 5:45 Eastern Time US, which is 10:45 GMT time. Come on there. It's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun, but there's a lot of cool shit that comes out of it. I asked them a question tonight about You know, if you had anything in the time that you've been vlogging, if you could go back and do it all over again, how would you do it differently or something like that? And he was completely honest, and it was a really good answer. It could have spat off a whole freaking great conversation, which I get in with Grom. So I spouted this off about commitment. So getting back to this Toasties place, it's a really cool place. And when I walked in there and I looked up on the bloody menu, I'm like, there's nothing up there I can eat because I'm freaking completely plant-based. And my wife goes, oh no, I'm going to post a bunch of pictures up and that on my Instagram and that, and see if I can find an Instagram slot for them. But a big shout out to Brandon that works in there. This is what I mean about commitment. And you don't know what kind of effect you're going to have on somebody, because look what I'm doing right now. I'm podcasting on this guy because I've picked up on something. And because of the journey I'm on, I was watching this guy, the way he was working. We went into this place, a great little place, and they had a little separate menu for the vegan side. And I'm like, oh shit, they had like truffle fries on there. I had a burger with this like tomato relish on the top. Oh mate, tomato relish on the top with a barbecue and what's that hot sauce? No, not Szechuan. Shit, I can't remember it now. Very popular, hot sauce. Damn it, wish I could remember the name of it. Oh, damn it. And he goes, do you want one or the other or mixed? And of course, my wife knows me so bloody well. And I went mixed, and she goes, yeah, no question, right? And I went, yeah, mix them up, please. Thank you very much. And it was absolutely banging. And my wife's food was freaking phenomenal too. It was like delicious. And so anyway, getting to the commitment bit with this guy. Now, I've never been in this place. I got no idea. But I'm already getting into the mind of vlogging because I want to push it to another level. I want to get this podcasting to another level. I want to reach a freaking audience. I want to reach people with this because I can see where I want to go with this. And if I've got people that are actually going, hey, bang on, get it going, freaking, and I've got some people that's doing that, it freaking pushes me even more to want to just get experiences out there to what you might be experiencing, and it might connect somewhere and it might pull you out of something to where you can think differently. That's why I do this. But I rely on you guys to get me out there. So the more you punch me out there, yes, can I pick up a bit of business out of it? Yes, of course, and great, right? Because that means people are stretching out and getting some help. Yes, I do one-on-one. I got a certification, and I do one-on-one work with people, and it's not just it's about seeing where your mind is, where things are coming from, what kind of strengths you have, the boundaries, the inner child work, everything. And then it's a matter of, okay, where you want to go? You bring it to me and we'll look at it and start figuring it out. And there's nothing more rewarding than seeing someone all of a sudden go, bosh, yep, caught it. And they start moving in a certain direction. Absolutely banging. So, throw me out there, yeah? Get me out there. So this guy, Brandon, I've never been in there. I see this menu up there. My wife shows me this menu. And this fella comes up, young fella, it's over there by UCF area. Big shout to the UCF. Big shout, hey! Big shout to UCF. Great university. And of course, they're not far from me. I used to actually live closer to them. But, they're our future. So all you people out there are going, kids, I was one of them at one point, and then it's like, hang on a minute, have a laugh, right? I've met some really, really freaking like where their heads at, because as soon as you start a journey like this, you start wanting to get in other people's minds and heads and see what's ticking. And wow, you get into some freaking like, oh, what do? Take an interest in them. Don't think about yourself. Take an interest in them, and you'll start seeing, just like I'm going to let you know about in another bit of this story, taking an interest in people. Like this guy here, I basically, I made a connect with him when I said, I was, all right, because I'm going all over the place here. Squirrel, oi, squirrel. I went up to him and he's telling us about all this different thing. He knew the menu and he knew it well. He knew what the flavours were and shit like that. Now, my background is a chef. I've worked in some, pretty tasty gaffs, I'd say, right? And I was kind of like, and I tuned into him and how he was talking, because it's like, we don't tune in, we don't listen. We think we're listening, but our mind is somewhere else. Like, oh, what's on the menu? And the guy's talking. If you listen, you'll get a lesson. So I started thinking. So while he's talking to me, and I start asking him a few questions about what he's telling me about and stuff like that, and the fries and the. My wife asked about the cheese because she knows I've been plant-based for a while now, so she's freaking a phenomenal because she'll say differently, but I want to get her own channel up. So anybody's interested in that, give me a big shout, yeah? And give my wife a big shout, Tracy, if you go and look for her on my bloody Instagram, you'll find her. I don't know what she goes out to Tracy one at Parker or Tracy, I don't know. But go and have a look for her. And hit her up and say I sent you over, and because she's a freaking big part of this story tonight. So he starts telling me about the bloody, the bits and pieces on the menu, and I'm thinking, okay, if you've never been in a gaff, don't let your freaking ego get in the way. Like I said, I'm a fully qualified chef, and I've been around the block a little bit, and I'm not going to try and know what he knows, right? It's a matter of looking at your own ego. Because if you let your ego get in the way, if all of a sudden I thought, well, I'm a fucking chef, what are you trying to tell me, kind of thing, right? The old ego gets in the way, and I've never done this. I've never like let my ego get in the way. I like to listen. When I was a chef de partie and I had guys under me, and some of those were young commies. They were, if you've been in the game, you know what a commie is. And we used to have a rank of a third, second, first commie. And there was the guys that were down there, and I'd been there before, and they'd ask me things, and I'd be like, try it out. I've never been. Let's have a look. You could teach me something. Do it. Let's find if it works. And, it boosts their confidence, right? So put your ego aside. Here's your first lesson, right? Because here's what happened. So now I just tune in. Put your ego aside. Tune in. What's he saying? And he's talking about the relish in that. Like, how he's explaining, I'm thinking, I could taste it. I thought, crikey, he's explaining that well. And then... So he's talking about two different burgers. There was an Impossible Burger, which is a really good made burger if you're plant-based. Yeah, don't, be careful, right? It's all, of course, it's convenient, obviously, but, it is a good, if you want a good burger, Impossible Burger are really good. And I forget what the other one is. Oh, God, my memory. Anyway, so, and there was this other one that was with it. There was both vegan. And I went, okay. So I look at him and I'm like, what would you do? So he goes, oh, I'd go the Impossible with this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll go with that then. I'm like, and I looked at my wife. I'm like, I'm going to go with whatever he says I'm going to go with. And he wasn't wrong. Holy shit. I tell you what, that's what I mean about that commitment. He shifted something with me to where he taught me something, and he doesn't even know he's taught me something. He's got no idea, that guy. So, Brandon, if you're listening, I'll tell you what, because I was trying to, I don't think you was quite understanding some of the stuff, probably because of my accent, but you were so nice that you didn't want to say I didn't understand you, and I didn't know what to say. Because I wanted to get some information to you about what I do, and that because I said to this kid, hey man, I'm going to do a freaking I'm a podcast, I do podcasts, and I want to freaking give you a shout out there, man, because you're really good at your job, you're you've explained things like nicely. You're really spot on. I don't think I even mentioned about being. The only time I'll mention me being about a chef is if someone's trying to pull the wool over my eyes, and then I'll be standing there, and I've done it in restaurants too, where the server's been like, in a nice gaff, right? Because up there a little bit. And they'll be like, oh, well, it's because of this. And I'm like, hey, I give them a chance. And then I'm like, oh, listen. And it's weird how things kind of all of a sudden change. But I gave him big props. I gave him like major props. So he doesn't know that he's taught me something, which is like, leave your ego at the door and listen, tune in, see what they're saying. And I was completely focused on what he was saying. I was like, oh, fucking this place sounds banging. And we went and sat down and we got our grub. And there was this freaking fry. Get the truffle. If you go in there, Toasties, don't forget it. Toasties on University, freaking nice little spot. It doesn't look that much. And when you hear toast, you think, oh, toasted cheese sandwich. No. Stop. Because again, it's that thought of a freaking thing in a pan, right? What do we imagine when you think toasted cheese? I know there's some freaking speciality people out there that go, well, I put clarified butter, right? It's like, come on. It's like, or you got the people from my neck of the woods that go, oh, I got like a tub of lard in a lard and dripping in all the meat juice, and I throw that on it. Right? So anyway, this frigging burger comes up, and at first I feel the bread and I thought, feels a bit dry, and then I knew, I know why. Because it was so like juicy with the relish and everything, and the heat that came through from the freaking salsa I can't remember the name of. I think it begins with S. Please help me out if you know. But absolute banging. And then as we were leaving, I was like, thanks a lot, appreciate it, man. Great, awesome, you great job, freaking props and all that shit. And I took a bunch of pictures in there. I'm going to post them up. on my Insta. If you go to my LinkTree in the bottom, click on that, and it will take you to like my Instagrams and all that. Go out there and give me a big old freaking loving heart, hugging subscribe on my YouTube channel, please, because that's how I'm trying to push all this out. And give me some whatever platform you're on. I don't know how you do it because I'm really not technical minded, so I've got no damn clue. I'm just putting this out there because I want to get messages out there, and I'm really interested in what I'm doing right now. I'm loving every minute of what I do. This is freaking interesting to me now. I've gone from leaving my podcasting equipment in the corner in the box for a year to like popping it out, which is all about PPA, and there's a whole another story around that. And how I got involved in starting to do this shit. Because this freaking technical stuff like bugs me, because I'm not like that. I'm not kind of minded like that. I'm more freaking give me I'm not brilliant, but art stuff and all that shit. This is a different kind of art, and that's what I'm figuring out. It's like, oh yeah, man, I can play around with sound, and I can interview people, and I can freaking get all right. Sweet. So yeah, I've put a bunch of money into this, to get that, because I want to get the message out. I want to get it out nice, and I'm also interested in all this now. It's really, I've got the bug. I got the bug. I was like, while I was out, I was like, oh, this is a podcast. Like, this is a message. So anyway, it's no secret to really anybody that I've got my, Florida cannabis license. I've been on all kinds of medications, and I'm not saying anything of anybody on medications. It didn't work for me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not freaking dogging anybody or anything like that. I've had people that have come for guidance sitting in front of me and said they would like to get off their, antidepressants and that, and we've done it. So, and they were a young person too. And also, was doing, there was a big bit of alcohol involved as well, and it was like, okay, just work. So, I have my Florida cannabis license. It's what works for me. I'm not saying freaking everybody, because it probably don't, but I know for me, it's, when I tell you, the only medication I remember that really freaking took a hold because my anger was off the charts when I first came into the States was lithium. Yeah, of course. And then when I told a mate of mine, he goes, "Yeah, I'll bring down a freaking horse." And I'm like, "What? What is it?" And he's like, "Oh shit, dude, that's like heavy." I'm like, "Oh, no wonder it kind of worked." Because everything else I got like freaking, I don't know, I had cocktails and it's zombied, like to where I couldn't freaking work and I was a chef. Yeah, it didn't really work. You know, I'd rather be, and it wasn't any good for me. The side effects were freaking insane. And I just didn't like, put weight on, you lose your freaking libido. One of them I did, it was like freaking nightmare. Yeah, God blimey. So, you know, big ups to people that are, you know, okay, but it wasn't really for me. And I use, you know, so anybody that would dog me for my cannabis license, hey, listen, right, just, you know, I think you know just from what I'm saying, from just pausing there. But anyway, the dispensaries like literally down the street. So we took a walk. And I thought, I don't even know what I want. I know I would need thing. And they got whenever they've got a bloody sale on, it's good. It was a 35% off sale, right? And big freaking ups to, now I've written a name down and I've written the register number down because I don't want to get a name wrong. But it's IBET. Is that IBET? EBET, right? With my accent, you know how I bleed and read things, right? EBET. Register 1272. It was freaking, she was absolutely banging. We go, first of all, the dispensary's freaking awesome. I need to get some more pictures up. And I got a video of the wall. The wall, just freaking, there's all these pictures all kind of put together, and it's just, and it's called Sunburn down on University, right there where Toasties is, mate. If you got your cannabis license, and you freaking go in there for some dinner, if you know, and try and get away from ordering online, because you can order online and go in and do pickup. And I used to do that because it's convenient. Oh yeah, it's convenient, you know, shit. But then I started realising, and I think I got given the lesson on purpose, was every time I'd go to this Sunburn, because it's a killer place, I don't go, once I find my spot, that's it. And I used to go to this other dispensary. I ain't going to mention the name, but I used to go to this other dispensary, and freaking, you can build up points, and all my points disappear. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, you're spending money in these gaffs, right? Freaking get out there on Amendment 3, please. Everybody that lives in Florida, get out there on Amendment 3. Push this freaking shit through, please. There's people out here that look to that for their medication. I've got freaking mates that swear by it, and you know, even looking at them, I'm like, who am I to tell this person that I know that goes through absolute freaking hell with PTSD? Who am I to say, nah, when it's a freaking plant? You know, it's growing in the ground. It's a freaking... No, I'm not saying people don't have issues with it. Don't take me literal. People that annoys me too. People freaking like, oh, and they start rallying. Listen, just listen. Just listen. I'm not one to tell someone else freaking don't drink, even though I know what it is. And when people come to me and they say, hey, listen, you know, freaking... I'm heavy into alcohol, you know, I say, right, where do you want to take it? And then if they're on the level where I think they are, it's like, all right, we got work. We got work to do. And they slip, and there's anger involved, and there's all kinds of shit. But trust me, I've had guys down off of it. It can be done. It can be done. And thank God that I have a medication like I do, because my alcohol was fucking stupid. And then all the anger and depression and freaking everything with that. So, right? So anyway, I didn't know what I wanted. I had no idea. I knew I wanted like cartridges and stuff. And in the end, I ended up getting some flour because I just started talking to this girl. So she goes, I can help next in line, and I walk up. So big ups again to me, bet. Yeah, register 1272. And I walk up there, and she goes, What can I help you with? Are you picking up or are you walking? And I said, I'm walking in. So she goes, okay. So she goes, what can I help you with? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. I've never done it. Hang on, drop a tea. Drop a tea, lovely. Wet the old whistle, eh? I don't know. And she goes, oh, okay, and she was just cool, just freaking cool. Everybody that I've dealt with in there have been cool as shit. And I wish a lot of facilities that you go to for medical advice and shit were like these people. Because I tell you what, I don't know what the proper term is for people that I'm going to just say call her my friend and be respectful, because I don't know, because she was, she really helped me out, and because I don't want to insult the girl. So my friend says, okay, and she just looks at me. I says, here's what I need it for. I get really bad anxiety and depression. Okay, cool. What are you looking for? So I said, well, I was told about a cartridge. I'd like a cartridge, because whenever there's sales on, I like to try and back my stuff up, because then the sales keep coming. If you can freaking get in on your sales, good, right? Get in on them. Do the sales, even though I got a bunch of points as well, which she informs me, by the way. Oh, yes. I'm going to mount them up, because there was her and the other lady that was helping someone else out. When I spoke about my points, I'm like, can I use points? I can't use my points, can I? I says to her, and she goes, no, not on the sale, unfortunately. She goes, but you got quite a few points. And I said, yeah, I know I got a bunch in there. So she goes, if you get I think it's like 3,000, I don't know what it is, 3,000 points or something. I don't know what it was. You get a whole tour of the facility. And I'm like, what do you mean? So she goes, oh, where it's all grown and freaking taught the freaking, and I'm like, oh, what? Count me in, because that's education, man. Throw everything at me. If I can freaking get to that where I can learn shit like that and picking brains on these guys, and then start getting them on a freaking podcast and shit like that, yes, please, thank you very much. I will have some of that, right? Yeah. Yes. Thank you. That'll be the thing to do, right? Yeah. Bingo lollipop. Yeah, of course. So yeah. So I'm like, yeah. I could go some of that. And now I'm thinking, how many points am I away? I need to know now. So I might contact the people, because I do a chat thing online, and I might say, yeah, listen, I've got a few points, and wonder if you could tell me. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Yeah. Anyway. So the absolute, this is the next lesson. Here's the next lesson. Hold back from trying to make things simple for yourself. Meaning, I had the lesson of not being able to order online a good few times. And I think this is where the journey is part of the journey. So I had the lesson of I try and go online and order online, so I can just walk in there and pick it up. And I've never even said to them in there, I've been online, I don't know what's going on, but it only seems to be me. I don't understand it. So it's been forcing me to just walk in there. And normally I go in there and I know what I'm going to order. I've looked it up. I've seen what the terpenes are, by the way. Learn your terpenes and what that does with anxiety and stuff, because there's certain terpenes that are really good. And believe it or not, when it comes to cannabis, now they're really researching and finding the terpenes are a lot more important in the cannabis than what they thought. So there's many, many different terpenes. But and I'm probably going to say this wrong. One of them is lemonzine, lemonzine, I think, or lemon. I might have that wrong, but it's like lemon, right? It's a good one. So that's on the top of the list of the terpenes. That's I go from and like okay, right, and then I got a lesson tonight. Again, if I would have ordered online, this wouldn't have happened. And a lot of people are doing this for convenience. So tune in to letting go of the simplicity of something, as in making it easier for yourself. Because we're becoming a society where we're not communicating. And when you don't communicate, the people start dividing because you're not communicating. And I'll tell you what happened tonight with this girl. So, soon as I said about, I don't really know what I want, I said, I come in here and I thought, you know what? And this is how I was talking to her, right? And all of a sudden her energy's changing. Because I'm buzzing. I just ate some freaking banging food with my wife, bonding with her. Everything's going sweet. The freaking dispensary's like I walk down, and we pass some really killer bloody shops on the way down there, which I wouldn't have found if I hadn't have been in that spot, walking down, right, and not driving there, like the next day that I was going to do. I did it that night. I'm like, oh shit, it's right there. Boom, right? So loads of lessons in this, right? The ego, first of all, and now this. So when you put it in the person's hands, now I'm not saying there's people out there that don't understand the plant. This is not what I'm saying. I'm talking about like myself. I know a bit. I know some around the anxiety and stuff, but I've never really gone, hey, what would you do? And so I said to her, listen, freaking tell me. I said, I told her what happens. I told her about my anxiety a little bit. And she goes, yeah. She looks at me and she goes, I've got anxiety. And I'm like, all right, connect. She understands. Boom. I wouldn't have had that if I'd have gone, oh, can I have older? Yeah, thanks. And out. Right. Connect straight away. So all of a sudden she's like, oh, she's on my level. And then she just starts telling me about I'm like, what you got for? She's like, well, I would go for, I'm like, what would you do? She's like, well, I like heavy on the indica. And I said, well, let me ask you about indica. I said, because I've had indica where it's freaking put me to sleep. Like in the daytime, I'm like, oh shit, I want to freaking go to sleep now. And I don't like that feeling. And she's like, no, if you get like the hybrid. And I said, well, I normally get a hybrid, but then, I just get what that fits that. And she's like, okay, well. And then she's telling me like freaking a lesson, a complete lesson. I'm like soaking it up like a freaking sponge. And I'm like, to the point where I use CamPay, which is on your phone, and I couldn't get, thank God my wife was there, because I'm like I was so into it, I couldn't figure out how to get the CamPay, and I turned around to my wife, and I'm like, hey, I can't figure out a CamPay. Oh my God, because like, oh shit. Help me. So my wife comes over, and I'm still focused on her and listening, and then my wife gave me my phone in, and I looked, and I'm like, oh, all right, cool, it's done. And then I carried on like talking to her, and this whole freaking lesson that I got around indica and how it doesn't have to be that way, and it's the matching and balancing, and it's like, fuck, why don't you get this like. When you go, I've not had this kind of, you get like freaking 5-10 minutes in it, right? That's why I do all my shit holistically. I tell you what, holistically, matey, I use herbs and everything for my anxiety. But believe it or not, catnip works. Anyway, but there's going to be a whole podcast around that too. So hey, listen, if you're interested, throw it up there. If you're like, yeah, I'd like the sound of that, boom, send me a message. Go to my like I said, go to my LinkTree. You can find me on there. But anyway, I had this whole freaking experience with this girl. that I wouldn't have had if I would have gone for the simple way of doing it. But I had the lessons there before anyway, because it wouldn't let me order online and force me to do this. So now I've had the lesson of that. It was an experience. Something taught me something. Yeah, what do? We sit there and go, what a pain in the arse. Can't get on me fucking computer and order online. And then we end up going there and saying, oh, listen, your fucking computers ain't working and making a big deal. Shit. Tune into the lesson. What's it teaching you? Right? So then we get in the car. My wife's driving. We get in the car and we turn around onto University, which is a really busy road. And again, it's all around, it's all around the UCF area. It's happening around there. There's bars and restaurants, and it's a pretty cool place all around there. So even, like they got their own like little city on the university grounds. My wife went there, and I remember one night we was going to a Christmas thing, and we had to park on the other side of the campus, and that's when you really understand how big the bloody place is, because. She goes, we got to walk. And I'm like, yeah, no big deal. Shit, man. Yeah, it was winter and it was cold, but it was warm when I got there. So we're on the way home, and all of a sudden this freaking dude, he cuts in front of her, and she's like, freaking, what the, and he's already over, and we're past him. We're past him at this point, right? And I'm going into Zen mode because I'm feeling pretty freaking good. I'm getting lessons. This is a great night. I'm out with my wife. I know my nippers are safe. I'm not getting any phone calls or messages or anything from them. I know they're sounding good. I'm bonding with my missus, and all of a sudden, here we go. And so I'm freaking like I said, I walk the walk, talk the talk. So I kept myself calm. It doesn't often happen, but I kept myself calm, and I'm like, why are you so? What's the matter? What's going on right there? I'm like, he's gone. We're safe. We're still driving. Just didn't have to even slow down. And I'm like, we're good. We're past it. There's no point. You're winding yourself up for nothing, right? It's like, leave it alone now. It's good. Vibing, good. Music's playing. All sweet, right? And so we got through. That was another lesson. It's like, if something happens and it's someone cuts you off in traffic or something like that, right? It's happened. So where's your insecurity? Why are we getting mad at a situation right there? Because we feel taken? Because we all of a sudden, there's that like, I'm not worth being in this position, kickback from it or something? Because that's what gets these insecurities going. So, and then you're getting all wound up over something that in your subconscious you're not dealing with. And that situation right there has already gone and done, but you're in your subconscious now and you're playing out a role. This is why I do what I do. I love this. It's looking at these people. It's looking at you guys that come to me. Please stretch your hand. Please come to my Sundays. 11 a.m. Eastern US time. That's 4 p.m. GMT time. The time may change. I've been thinking about it. I don't know. I'm going to put the feelers out there for people that come regularly and see what they think. So please send me a message if you come regularly and the time could be, I don't know. I like I say, I put the word out there, and I rely on you guys to get me out there and support and turn up and just enjoy it and network and building that Cockney Buddha community. So come out on a Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. GMT time. So it was, I was kind of zenned it down, right? I got my, it's changing, it's shifting the mind, and I did it without trying a therapy. I didn't want a therapy, because I hear that. Don't therapy me. All right, shit. Can't help it. My mind starts freaking going. I said to my therapist, I'm like, everything I do is and I've got to learn to find something that it isn't related to, because everything I do is related. I read mental health and how the mind works and everything. I meditate. That's all to do with mental health. You know, podcasting is a way to get the message out there, and I love doing this because it is a little different, right? And vlogging and things like that. It's all part of it. I just bought new mics, by the way. My wife knows. My wife knows. It's money that I make, and it's like I'm putting it back into the business, and you know, putting into some of this, getting the word out a little bit, giving back a little bit. So get me out there, guys. Go and subscribe, please. Please. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, get me out there. So then we got on the subject of how I got over here, and the whole thing wrapped around, you know, I'm not going to make a big thing out of it because there's probably a whole podcast there, but me coming into the country, and I was gonna be coming here for like a 3-month period. I'm sure that's what we were, because my wife and I were talking in the car now, and we spoke about this, and I said, wasn't I coming here for like a 3-month stay, because you could come for a 3-month stay without a visa? And she's like, yeah. And I looked at her and I said, so why did I ship my shit? And my wife looks at me and she goes, do you know I thought about that a few months ago? I'm like, I've only just thought about it. Well, I was coming for the free, but there was no, and I said to my wife, did anything enter your mind? Did you think? And she's like, no, it was just like a done deal thing. And I said, but it all went where I'm like, I'm not going back. So how did that happen? How did that bloody happen? And like I say, everything happens for a reason. And what happened with that? What was the lesson with that? We both committed to each other at that point. We had both been through stories of relationships, and we had learnt the lessons at that point. Because my wife says, she goes, we've been married more than we've been single. And I went, what are you talking about? She goes, well, I was 20, I think she was 27 when we met. I was 25. Well, I had my 25th birthday here. So I was 25, and that was it. It was like there wasn't anything going to happen. We weren't looking to date or anything like that. It just all materialised, and then we got to this point, and it's commitment. Going for what you want to get. Learning about it, like that fella in the restaurant, right? Looking at yourself and your ego and things like that. Getting in the way, the commitment. If you want to commit to not ordering online, don't order online and walk into the place. Talk to people. If you want to learn a little bit about what somebody may know about their side of cooking, put your ego to the side, forget about being the chef, and ask them. Because let me tell you, with both of those people, even though the guy in the restaurant, poor fella, I don't think he really understood me. And anybody talk to me, please just say I'm not, because I'd rather, have a laugh about it. But the girl did. She knew exactly. And I kept on giving her props and saying, thank you very much. You've been, I appreciate you. And then as we left, before she gave me the bag, I put my hands together up to my face like I do with people when I respect, and giving that love, giving that heart, showing that I care, and just giving that little bow and saying, thank you, appreciate you. And then taking my bag, and she said, thank you. And then you've been a great help. I was saying, you've been a really good help. That could have changed her freaking life. Who knows, right? Who knows? All of a sudden, someone is giving them complete props and thank you, and it brings that person back to why they are doing what they're doing. It's the very thing, like, if I get, like, someone goes, shit, man, thank you very much. Yes, it's a beautiful thing. It helps you out. It does. It gives you a bit of a boost. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that commitment that my wife gave me, and I gave my wife, and in the weird way that turned out, and I'd love to get my wife on here on a podcast and talk. I've already spoke to my kids about getting them on a podcast as well. So there's going to come a point, guys, when I've got my girls on here, because I want to talk about dad and daughter stuff as well. Because I'm sure they'll come up with some things. But go out there and show me some love, guys. Give me a little bit of that heart and give me that subscribe, yeah? I'm the Cockney bird. I'm out there getting real. I've got plans and ideas coming up. Like I say, I just got some new mics. I'm going to be messing around with them over the weekend. And I'm on somebody else's podcast too, by the way. A fella by the name of Beckett Johnson. I'm going to be doing that next week. It should be a great talk too, and I'll let everybody know about it. I'm sure if you go and follow the fella, go and look for him on my Instagram. Click on my LinkTree at the bottom and follow me on there. And I want to throw the 30-Year Old Grom up on the description. And I want to find that piece of music as well that I got given by Dan Kov. Go and show some love, guys. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I always appreciate the support. I love each and every one of you. Thank you very much for listening. Good night.